Hey guys, I wanted to introduce to you a concept that I used in my English classes called free talking. Free talking helps improve the children's English skills and then also give them a structure on how to have a conversation in English. So in this video, I will explain the 4 steps of free talking. And like I said, it will really help the students a lot. And also, they will talk to you about free talking a lot. Like, teacher, free talking? Teacher, do I have to do free talking? But hey, it promotes English conversation. Let's start. So for free talking, I like to first introduce to my students the difference between accuracy and fluency. Usually I describe to them what accuracy means, which is, like it says on the board, focusing on language, using grammar correctly, and correcting your mistakes, and the quality of your sentences. And then I introduce to them fluency. So using what you know, the ability to speak without thinking, so basically meaning, speaking continuously without taking pauses, errors, mistakes are okay, and quantity. Usually I tell to my students, which one do I prefer, accuracy or fluency? And since my class is a conversation class, I usually like them to focus on fluency, because I don't want to make them lose their confidence when speaking English, so I encourage mistakes as long as they are trying. So usually before we start free talking, I like to give them their topic. So this week our topic is Korean food. For free talking, there are 4 steps. Step number 1, reading. Step number 2, key expressions. Step number 3, follow-up questions. Step number 4, closing. So now I will break down all the steps. Step number 1, reading. Usually for my lower level students and younger grades, we just do, hello, how are you? I'm fine. How about you? I'm fine too. But for your more advanced students, I recommend using this format. Hello, how have you been? I've been good because, then reason. How have you been? I've been good too because, or I've been not so good, or I've been so-so because, then reason. Since their English is a little bit more advanced, I suggest making them use a reason to why they feel what they feel. Step 2, key expressions. So in each chapter of the book, we have 2 different key expressions, and I really want my students to know how to use it properly. So for this chapter about food, our 2 key expressions is, can you tell me more about it? And I think it's. Then here, in the situation, we will use adjective. Usually I like to put it in Korean too, just to give them a little hint. This is not the exact translation, it's just this is how it appears in their books. Step 3, follow-up questions. So, since our topic is food, I like to make my students think about questions that they're going to ask, like who, what, where, why, how. So, since our topic is food, this is our example questions that we made together. What's your favorite food? What's your least favorite food? Do you like? And then food name. I think it's nice to ask follow-up questions to show that you are engaged in the conversation. And the last step is closing. Saying just bye, I feel, is impolite, just to end a conversation abruptly. So I made my students memorize one of these closings, such as, it was nice talking to you, or I don't want to keep you. Let's catch up soon. Sorry, I gotta go. With each class, they honestly have a different favorite closing, so it's up to your students which one they want to use. But like I said, it's just more polite to say these closings instead of goodbye. So usually before I start free talking, I like to help my students with step number 2, key expressions. Usually, to utilize both key expressions in a conversation can sometimes be difficult, so that's why we practice in class together. So, since our topic is food, we can start with what and then food's name. So, for example, like what's tteokbokki? It's, and then its English name. Then here, I have their hint. I want them to keep opening their book to remember this phrase. Can you tell me more about it? Then here we have information. What do you think about it? and our second key expression, I think it's, then adjective. After I introduce to them the key expressions and the topic, we will review our vocabulary and what kind of content I want together. So, since you're learning Korean food, I gave my students a worksheet with some Korean food and we wrote the English translations together. So I give them about 2 to 3 minutes to practice with a partner. What? My Korean student name, their partner will answer, it's blah blah, then switch. For example, what's keranjin? It's steamed eggs. AD, then switch. So after, we review our key expression again. Can you tell me more about it? I usually have my students repeat this phrase several times so we can remember it. Usually, I hide these and I have my students tell me when, where, why, who, what, how. So when do we eat kimbap? Where can we buy it? Why? Because these are the answers they will use later, or can you tell me more about it? This is the information that I would like. So after we go through this example together, I usually introduce the second key expression. What do you think about it? So this is not their key expression, but it will help lead them into answering using their next key expression. So what do you think about it? I think it's adjective. So what's your opinion? I think it's delicious. I think it's very cheap. I think it tastes so-so. So now, reviewing both key expressions, I want them to practice the beginning of step 2, using our first key expression. Can you tell me more about it? So usually I put my students in pairs and we will practice what we first did. So for example, what's bibimbap? It's a Korean mixed rice bowl. Can you tell me more about it? It is famous in Jeonju. It has, and then the ingredients. What do you think about it? I think it's delicious. After, I will have the students practice again, but this time they won't have many hints or clues. At this point too, I still let them have their books open so they could look at the key expressions again. After, I will make them stand up in pairs and present. AD, then switch. Now it's time to put all we practiced into step 2 one more time. What's pajeon? It's green onion pancake. Can you tell me more about it? We eat it on a rainy day. We eat it with chopsticks. What do you think about it? I think it's delicious. Then I make them repeat. Then I make them switch. Usually, when their partner switches, they're not allowed to use the same piece of information. They have to come up with something different, just for a little bit of diverse answers. After practicing step 2, I let them do it on their own. So here, they can practice for free talking. So they can pick any food's name. So what's kimchi? What's bibimbap? What's papingsu? It's English name. Can you tell me more about it? Then information. What do you think about it? I think it's blah blah. I also give them an example script. I'll insert a picture right here. Usually, I let the students practice for about 5 minutes with their partner. Step 1 is really easy for my lower level students because it's something that they have practiced since elementary school. Step 2, like I said, we reviewed each piece little by little. So now they are more familiar with it, and also I try to simplify it as much as I can. After giving my students some time to practice, we start free talking. So usually when they do free talking, I have 2 students come up in the front and we do free talking for about the last 10 minutes of class. Free talking has no time limit. Free talking has no time limit for the students, meaning that if they take 3 minutes, it's okay. If they take 1 minute, it's okay. I just want them to do the 4 steps. Like I said, they have an example script and I introduce to them the concept before, so we have a familiarity on what we need to accomplish. So when the students come up to present, I give them their topic, Korean food, and then here I give them 2 hints as well. So can you tell me more about it? I think it's, then the adjective. So like I said, I gave my students a script, and usually before we present, we read the script together. So I would usually read A and the students would read B. So for example, hello, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine too. Step 1, reading. Step 2, key expressions. A, what's tteokbokki? It's spicy rice cakes. Can you tell me more about it? It has rice cakes, fish cakes, and sometimes eggs. What do you think about it? I think it's spicy but delicious. Then they switch. What's naengmyeon? It's ice cold noodles. Can you tell me more about it? We eat naengmyeon in the summer. It's very refreshing. What do you think about it? I think the price is cheap. Step 3, follow-up questions. What's your favorite Korean food? My favorite Korean food is kimchi pancake. What food do you not like? I don't like steamed eggs. And step 4, closing. Sorry, I gotta go. It was nice talking to you. And that is the end for free talking. Honestly, my students weren't very excited about it, but after practicing several times and each lesson, we changed the key expressions and the structure of the conversation a little bit. It gets easier. Why? Because the steps are still the same. Greeting, key expression, follow-up questions, closing. So key expressions and follow-up questions change, but we practice those in class together. So they still have the consistency of step 1 and step 4. We just have to adjust to step 2 and step 3. And like I said, usually I make a script for them for an example, just in case if they forget. So these are the 4 steps for free talking.
Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video, and honestly, I wish I started free talking when I first started teaching here. The students don't have a lot of chance to practice their English skills because the main focus is writing, reading, and listening, and speaking is really put on the back burner. But honestly, free talking has really changed my students' English abilities a lot, and it's just amazing seeing the growth that they have done throughout the semester and the year. It's really crazy, and it makes me really emotional because some students that I thought could never, not saying they never could grow in their English ability, it's just, they really surprised me and they worked really hard. But honestly, free talking is a really great idea, and I hope you utilize it in your classes. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye!